So, welcome to this session on listening. I'm going to focus on IELTS listening. Okay. So, just as just a starter. So, can we guess why I put up those 4 countries? You can unmute yourself. Or type it in the box if you prefer.
Eastern countries have the most difficult languages.
Oh, they have the most difficult languages. No, but I like that guess. That's a good one. It's more personal than that. Anyone else? You can unmute yourself.
They all have 4 stars on their flags.
Again, this is why when you write a test, you have to be careful what you're looking for. They do all have stars. I'll give you that. These are all countries I have lived in, actually. So I lived in China for 2 years. I lived in Malaysia the longest, 5.5 years. I lived in Libya in the 80s for 5 years, and I've lived in Papua New Guinea. Okay. Good. So let's get started with this session on listening then. Okay. So I'm going to do this like I would a listening class. So often when you have a listening class, you have some vocabulary to check to make the listening easier. Okay. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work. This is a seminar. I would like you to check the meanings of monologue, synonyms, gist, anxiety, eavesdrop, wean, distractor, and transcript. Okay, so those are crucial words for my seminar today. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 minutes to check what they mean. Let's go online, find your favorite dictionary, and I'll be asking you for what they mean in a few minutes. Let's go. Any problems, just put it in the chat. It's very simple, just check what they mean. I like that comment. They speak English differently in those countries. It's a good guess. Okay, let's see how it's going. Elisaveta, how's it going? Are you ready to explain some of those words?
Monologue is probably like a conversation.
No, yeah, no, I'm just checking where you're at, Andrew. Are you ready with to explain all of those words, or do you need some more time?
I think I need more time to be
Okay,
honest.
yeah, just checking with some people. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, Anna, that's very good. Yes, no, I'm going to choose people to explain each one, but that sounds like a good definition of eavesdrop. Okay. So someone else. Luna, how's it going? Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're ready. Okay, I think we will start then. Okay, so monologue. Let's have Kate, please. Kate, could you explain a monologue, please?
Monologue, it's when one person talks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so in listening, you're listening to just one person talking rather than two and three. So that's one type of IELTS listening. Very good. Okay, Kate, you choose someone else from the list to explain the next one, please. So which is synonyms. Yeah, your choice, Kate. Who would you like to choose?
Maybe enter.
Okay. Who is that? Okay, who do you want? Andrew. Andrew Ivanov. Okay, Andrew, can you explain the next one, please? Synonyms.
Like, it's kind of the word which is similar with understanding, kind of like that.
Yeah, words with a similar meaning to another word. So, why are those useful for listening?
Like, I don't know, to be honest, but in writing it could be to avoid the repeats.
Yeah, in IELTS writing, yeah, it's very important to change the words around. Yeah. So in listening, in the question, they're probably not going to use the same word. Yeah. So in the question, they're probably not going to use the same word. So if you think synonyms as you are listening, that'll help you get the answer. Okay, Andrew, choose someone for gist, please.
Let's Katharina.
Okay, yeah, fine. So we have gist. Who did you choose? Okay, let's choose someone else then. Let's choose Jacob, please. What is listening for gist? Jacob? No? Okay, Luna, what is listening for gist?
The gist is the general main point of the speech.
Yeah, it's just the general meaning. You're not you don't worry about the details. Yeah. So that's something often students don't like listening for gist because they want to listen for every detail. The same in reading. But it is one skill in listening, listening for gist. Okay, thank you very much. Can you choose someone for anxiety, please? Someone from the list.
Maybe Kate?
Kate. Okay, Kate. You've got, well, I hope you haven't got anxiety. The anxiety is your word.
It's when you are stressed and worried about something.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the adjective of anxious? Oh, I just gave it anxious. It was on the tip of my tongue. Okay, eavesdrop. We had a good definition of that in the chat box, so we'll move on from that one. Okay, next one is a verb, to wean. Okay, so let's have for that one Oksana, please. What does it mean to wean? Oksana, are you there?
Yes, to wean means to make somebody drop his habits.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about weaning off something. Yeah, very good. Okay, we just got two left. Distractor and transcript. So Oksana, can you choose someone for distractor?
Yeah, please, Sash.
Sash. Didn't see Sash on the list, but okay, yeah. Sash, are you out there?
Distraction is the process of interrupting attention.
Yes, yes. So I'm thinking now there are a lot of distractors when you work from home. Okay, so I can look around what's going on. So I must focus on what I'm doing here. Okay, Sash, can you choose someone for the last word, which is transcript?
Maybe Catherine.
Okay, yeah, last one, yeah. There's Sash. Yeah. No, nothing there. Okay, Anna, please, the last one, a transcript.
Isn't it when you either write or type something down, like if someone is speaking and it's like the written version of it?
Yeah, so why if I put that up for listening?
Because it is a skill that you tend to do when you're listening to someone if you have to write what they are saying.
Write things down. Okay. No, in language teaching, what you have at the back of the textbook is you have the written version of what the person said. So if you are feeling anxious or if you want to improve your listening, often you will read the transcript after, or you'll read the transcript as you are listening to help find the answers. Okay. Right. Okay, let's move on. So experts, they often say that first, when we're learning a language, we do learn the listening. And as we listen, we develop the skill of speaking. And as we speak, then we learn to read, and then we learn to write. Okay. But I think that is, I think you should consider that mainly for beginners. Okay, but listening is one of the first things you will learn, and it's one of the skills that students actually enjoy doing the most. And probably the hardest is writing, because it's the last thing that you generally learn in a foreign language. Okay, so in IELTS, are you listening for gist or are you listening for detail, Sash? Or probably Sasha, I guess. Okay, so yes, you're actually listening for detail. So in your normal sort of general English classes, you will listen for gist the first time, and then the second time you will listen for detail. But that's the stress of IELTS listening. You get to listen once only, so you're listening for detail all the way through. Okay, so what should we consider for IELTS? So IELTS, your spelling is crucial. So I've had many students who they listen, they can understand everything, but their spelling isn't very good. So that's just how it is. If even one letter is wrong, the answer is wrong. So do work on your spelling. Okay, also if the answer is grammatically wrong, then you don't get the mark as well. Okay, so in IELTS, there's no separate test for grammar. So they test it in through the 4 skills. Okay, do check the word count. It's usually 3 words or 2 words or 1 word. Okay, so if it's 1 word and you write 2 words, you don't get the mark. Okay. Right, and maybe it sounds strange, but you are only allowed to write what is in the gap. Okay, so I'm not going to count how many people are attending this seminar, but let's say there's 14. So for this one on the answer sheet, you would write 14. If you wrote 14 and people, then you wouldn't get the mark as well, because it'd be 14 people. Or if there's a pound sign and the gap is a number, you can't write the pound sign again. Okay, so you only write what is in the gap. So that does catch students out sometimes. Okay, so why is it difficult? Because you need to read the question, you need to listen, and you need to write at the same time, which is something we don't do in normal life. We just listen. Okay, so it is basically 3 skills at the same time, which means the exam practice is absolutely critical. Okay, I didn't say, but I'll take questions at the end. Okay, so if you have any questions, let's see if I cover them during this session. Okay, so here's the word anxiety. So there's the anxiety if you only get to listen once. Okay, so deep breathing, and it's only going to happen once, I'm afraid. Okay, so in listening, technically, there is cataphoric and anaphoric referencing. Okay. So I'm going to ask you now to check what they mean. What does cataphoric and anaphoric? Go online and find out what they mean. Just 1 moment. Okay, let's just go to Google. I'm just going to check I've got it the right way around. Okay, so let's have Anna. What is this all about? No.
So, oh, apologies.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So, cataphoric
Yeah.
is the preceding expression whose meaning is determined or specified by the later expression, may be called a cataphor.
Yeah, so it's the first example there. Okay, so he won an election, possibly only they didn't know for sure that it. Okay, so when we're listening, especially to section 4, we need to keep the words in our head because often they're referring back to something. Okay, so that is cataphoric referencing. And then anaphoric referencing. That's the other way around. Okay, so we often we'll get the answer, but it might not come to later, or it might come before what it is referencing. So that's why you need to keep the words in your head as you are listening. Okay, let's look at some tips for IELTS. So there's no magic really. There's lots of books out there saying there's some magic, but there's just some very basic sort of tips like underline the keywords in questions and thinking of synonyms before you listen, because you have some time, about 20-30 seconds before they play the listening. Okay, be ready for distractors. Okay, these are often used in the telephone numbers. So someone says 08773 and they'll say 08873. No, 08773. So it drives students crazy. But I'm talking to a friend the other day and we were doing numbers like that. And often people get the wrong end of the stick. So be ready for distractors, especially with numbers. And write down the last one that they agree with. Okay, do practice guessing answers. Think parts of speech. So think, is the answer going to be a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb? With practice, this can work very nicely. I've been teaching IELTS for 15 years, so I find I can usually get band 4 in IELTS without actually listening at all. I can guess up to band 4. I've tried this on a boring afternoon. I've been through an exams. Okay, so if you are good at guessing, it can be something you can do. Transferring answers, you'll get 10 minutes after listening to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Usually students would transfer in 5 minutes. And then it can be a nice little breather because on the day of the IELTS, you'll have listening and then reading and then writing. And then if you're unlucky, speaking will be very, very soon after that. Okay, so transferring answers, that's probably the only time in the IELTS test where you can relax a little bit. Okay, so as I said, you can only listen once. So try not to panic if you do get lost. But it comes with practice. Make notes as you listen to focus you. So often I think, the brain can take us down all the roads, but if you make notes as you listen, And also in those notes, maybe the answer is in there. Okay, so during the transfer time, you can refer to your notes. Oh, I wrote down all these words. Oh, actually, the answer is in there. Okay, and as I said before, there is no penalty for a wrong answer. So I always ask my students to write down 40 answers. Okay. Right. Before we move on to the different sections, I will take some questions there, actually, if there are any. No. Okay, so let's just get into IELTS listening then. So section 1. Okay, right. I'm not going to play you a section 1. I thought I would write down some words to give you a flavor of section 1. So take out some paper or take out your phone to make notes on, and we'll do a few words of section 1. So I'll just let you get ready. Okay, as you're getting ready, so there are 10 questions per section. I would hope that you can get 8, 9, or even 10 in section 1, because they do get harder as you go through them. Okay, I'm going to assume you are ready. Okay, so this is like a dictation. The first word is Ollie Dilly, my best friend. So Dilly is spelt D-I-L-L-E-Y. Okay, the next one is just a made-up phone number. So you can reach him on 087766 5490. Okay, his job is he is a university lecturer. Can you write down university lecturer? And then a number, because numbers are very common in section 1. So the number is 7,894,542. Okay, so section 1 is lots of jobs, names, numbers, telephone numbers. So it's very straightforward. Okay, in the interest of time, actually, no, I will ask somebody. Right, let's have Andrew, please. Andrew, and for ease, can you give me the 4 answers, please?
Excuse me?
Yeah, so the name, the telephone number, the job, and then the number. Could you tell me what I said?
Excuse me, sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay, I'll go through them again very quickly. So we have Ollie Dilly. You should be able to spell Ollie. First names they won't spell to you in IELTS. So Dilly, D-I-L-L-E-Y. Okay. Telephone number 087766 5490. University lecturer 7,894,542. Okay, Andrew, that was a bit fast, but can you tell me the 4 answers now?
Daily and...
Can you spell both names, please? Because then I can see if you...
D-A-double-L and Y.
Okay, what about the first word, his first name?
Kind of like D. Oh, no.
No, not sure. No, so Ollie, it's actually also the name of my brother. So they won't spell like my name, Nick, Nicholas, Andrew, Paul, Fiona. Some students do find that a little bit tricky, but they're not going to spell you the first name. They will spell you difficult surnames. So Dilly is because it could be just Y, so it's D-I-L-L-E-Y. Okay, Andrew, what about the telephone number, the made-up one?
87766 5496.
I hope I didn't say 96. I hope I said 90. Okay, so
yeah.
O means 0, 087766 So we see things in doubles. 5490. Okay, Andrew, his job.
University lecture.
Lecture. The devil is in the detail for listening, I'm afraid. What's the job?
Like University of Lecture, he is maybe a teacher.
Okay, maybe it's the line, but we have right, lecturer. Yeah, lecturer, university lecturer. Okay, and the made-up number, please, Andrew.
7 million.
Million, no S, yeah.
894.
1,000, yeah.
Yeah, and 542.
Okay, the and comes before the 42, 542, but on the answer sheet, you wouldn't write it out. Obviously, you'd write the in actual numbers. So 7,894,542. Okay, so that's your chance to get a good start in the IELTS test to get 8 or 9 or even 10 out of 10 in section 1. So if you're very keen, you can always revise first names, how to say numbers, how to say telephone numbers, and common jobs they often have in section 1. Okay. So remember, they give you time to look, you listen, they give you time to check your answers, and then they just move on to the next section. Okay, so section 2, I can't just make one up, it'll take forever. So we're going to use one from my old employer, which is the British Council, where you can find lots of resources. It sounds like sales, doesn't it? But they're all free on the British Council. Okay, so section 2 is a monologue about an everyday situation. Okay, so section 1 is usually 2 people, and then they switch to a monologue, and it's an everyday situation, and often it will include a table to fill in. Okay, right, so we're going to do a section 2. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is take a screenshot in a minute. Just give me a chance to get this on the screen of this listening section 2. Okay. Just give me a second. Okay, Andrew, do you see I am red and black?
Excuse me, you have distorted.
Oh, I haven't showed it actually. No, that's what I'm. Oh, I think I did actually. And I'm just it was using an example for this one. So actually, that's not the sound. Just wait a moment. Yeah, I just need to put the sound on for this one. Okay. Andrew, do you see a page there with a web page, black and red?
Yeah.
Okay, good, fine. Okay, right. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure it's that one, or did I go for that one? Okay, I think it's okay, right. So can you take a screenshot for this one, questions 11 to 14, please? So your fine print screen at the okay, I'll assume you've done that. Okay, so and then as you say, we often have a table. Okay, can you take a screenshot of that from 15 to 20? Okay, right. Okay, so I'll have a look at the instructions there. Which counsellor should you see? And then write the correct letter A, B, or C next to the questions. Okay, Andrew, I'm going to ask if you can hear this because sometimes listening it goes wrong. Let's have a listen.
Section 2. You will hear a guidance counsellor talk.
Andrew, did you hear that?
Yeah, the sound is
Okay.
coming.
Yeah, it's coming through. Okay. Any other problems? Okay, let's go.
Talking to a group of students. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
If you didn't take a screenshot, there it is again. So underline keywords in 11 to 14.
Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Hello everyone, I'm the Counselling Administrator here at St Ives College, and I've been asked to come and talk to you about our counselling team and the services that we offer. We have 3 professional counsellors here at St Ives, Louise Bagshaw, Tony Denby and Naomi Flynn. They each hold daily one-on-one sessions with students, but which counsellor you see will depend on a number of factors. If you've never used a counsellor before, then you should make an appointment with Naomi Flynn. Naomi specialises in seeing new students and offers a preliminary session where she will talk to you about what you can expect from counselling, followed by some simple questions about what you would like to discuss. This can be really helpful for students who are feeling a bit worried about the counselling process. Naomi is also the best option for students who can only see a counsellor outside office hours. She is not in on Mondays, but starts early on Wednesday mornings and works late on Thursday evenings, so you can see her before your first class or after your last class on those days. Louise staffs our drop-in centre throughout the day. If you need to see someone without a prior appointment, then she is the one to visit. Please note that if you use this service, then Louise will either see you herself or place you with the next available counsellor. If you want to be sure to see the same counsellor on each visit, then we strongly recommend you make an appointment ahead of time. You can do this at reception during office hours or by using our online booking form. Tony is our newest addition to the counselling team. He is our only male counsellor, and he has an extensive background in stress management and relaxation techniques. We encourage anyone who is trying to deal with anxiety to see him. Tony will introduce you to a full range of techniques to help you cope with this problem, such as body awareness, time management, and positive reinforcement.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20.
Okay, so keyword actually for that was prior. Prior means before. In the real test, they will actually also say, and the British Council should have added this, that you can use a letter more than once. But as you notice, there are 14 and 3 choices, but they'll make that very clear. So yeah, you can use a letter more than once for that. Okay, just in case you didn't get a chance. So this is the table. So we have a workshop. It's a bit similar to this session, a contact and a target group. So who is it for? Okay. It does say with no more than 2 words for each answer. Okay, so 1 or 2, but not 3. Okay, let's go. This is looking time. Okay, so they are quite generous with their looking time. I'll just play it through. And then I'll give you a chance to check, and we'll check together. So be ready.
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Each semester, the counselling team runs a number of small group workshops. These last for 2 hours and are free to all enrolled students. Our first workshop is called Adjusting. We've found that tertiary education can come as a big shock for some people. After the structured learning environment of school, it is easy to feel lost. In this workshop, we will introduce you to what is necessary for academic success. As you might expect, we're targeting first-year students with this offering. Getting organised follows on from the first workshop. Here, we're going to help you break the habit of putting things off. get the most out of your time, and discover the right balance between academic and recreational activities. With Getting Organised, we're catering to a broader crowd, which includes all undergraduates and postgraduates. Next up is a workshop called Communicating. The way people interact here may be quite different to what you're used to, especially if you've come from abroad. We'll cover an area that many foreign students struggle with, how to talk with teachers and other staff. We'll cover all aspects of multicultural communication. International students tend to get a lot out of this class, so we particularly encourage you to come along. But I must say that sometimes students from a local background find it helpful too, so everyone is welcome. The anxiety workshop is held later on in the year and deals with something you will all be familiar with, the nerves and anxiety that come when exams are approaching. Many students go through their entire academic careers suffering like this, but you don't have to. Come to this workshop and we'll teach you all about relaxation and how to breathe properly, as well as meditation and other strategies to remain calm. We've tailored this workshop to anyone who is going to sit exams. Finally, we have the motivation workshop. The big topic here is how to stay on target and motivated during long-term research projects. This workshop is strictly for research students, as less advanced students already have several workshops catering to their needs. Well, that's it. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions or want more information about our services, do come and see us at the counselling service.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, so check your answers. Or guess if necessary. But that should not be your first thing that you do. Okay, so this is checking time. Check your spelling. I think 17 was a little bit tricky, actually. I think a couple of answers work for that one. We'll see in a minute. So at the end of the checking time.
Now turn to section 3.
Okay. We'll check all the answers at the end. That'll be the most efficient way of doing it. Okay, so if you'd like to do it this way, can you take a screenshot of that, please? I'll assume you've done that. And also that 27 to 30. Okay, I'll assume you've done that if that's how you like to do it. Okay, right. So part 3 is when it becomes academic. Okay, so it should get a little bit harder.
Section 3. You will hear a conversation between a tutor and 2 students who are preparing for an English literature test. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24.
English literature. Okay, so it gets more serious in part 3. How many words are we allowed? No more than 3 words. Okay. So think of synonyms.
Listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Okay, let's go.
Hello, Lorna, Ian. Glad you could make it. You're the only 2 who put your names down for this literature tutorial, so let's get started, shall we? I want to run over some aspects of the novel The Secret Garden with you before the test next week. Be sure to take some notes and ask questions if you need to.
Hey, Lorna, have you got a spare pen?
Sure, here you are.
Okay, so the story follows 2 key characters. You should refer to them as protagonists, who go by the names of Mary Lennox and Colin Craven. The story is set shortly after the turn of the 20th century, and the narrative tracks the development of the protagonists as they learn to overcome their own personal troubles together.
That's quite a common storyline, isn't it?
Yes, you're right, Lorna. So what can you tell me about the character of Mary?
Well, In the beginning, she is an angry, rude child who was orphaned after a cholera outbreak and forced to leave India and move to the United Kingdom to her uncle's house in Yorkshire.
That's right. And there she meets Colin, who spends his days in an isolated room, believing himself to be permanently crippled, with no hope of ever gaining the ability to walk. The two strike up a friendship and gradually learn, by encouraging each other, that they can both become healthy, happy and fulfilled in life.
Will we need to remember a lot of these details for the exam?
Just the basic outline. Examiners don't want to read a plot summary. They know what the book is about. Focus on narrative techniques instead, such as point of view.
What's that mean?
It's all about how we see the story. This story, for example, is written from the perspective of what is called an omniscient narrator. Omniscient means all-knowing. So, as readers, we get to see how all the characters feel about things, what they like and don't like, and what their motivations are in the story.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30.
Okay, be careful with plural S. If you miss out the plural S, you will not get the mark.
Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
Won't it be hard to write a technical analysis? After all, it's a kid's book.
Well, it was initially pitched at adults, you know. But over the years, it has become seen as a more youth-orientated work. And you're right in a sense. The simple vocabulary and absence of foreshadowing make the story very easy to follow and ideally suited for children. But that doesn't mean there isn't much to analyse. Look at the symbolism, for instance.
Symbols are things, right? Material things like objects that stand for abstract ideas.
Absolutely, yes. And the author uses many of them. There's the robin redbreast, for example, which symbolises the wise and gentle nature that Mary will soon adopt. Note that the robin is described as not at all like the birds in India. Roses are used as well, as a personal symbol for Mistress Craven. You'll see they're always mentioned alongside her name, and Mistress Craven's portrait can also be interpreted as a symbol of her spirit.
Are symbols just another name for motifs?
No, motifs are a bit different. They don't have as direct a connection with something the way that a symbol does. Motifs are simply recurring elements of the story that support the mood.
Are there any in this novel?
Yes, two very important ones. The Garden of Eden is a motif. It comes up a few times in connection with the garden of the story. And then you've got the role that secrets play in the story. In the beginning, everything is steeped in secrecy, and slowly the characters share their secrets, and in the process move from darkness to lightness, metaphorically, but also, in the case of Colin, quite literally. His room in the beginning has the curtains drawn, and he appears at the end in the brightness of the garden.
Anything else we need to know about?
Yes. Nearly all novels explore universal concepts that everyone has experienced. Things like love, family, loneliness, friendship. These are called themes. The Secret Garden has a few themes that all centre on the idea of connections. The novel explores, for example, the way that health can determine and be determined by our outlook on life. As Colin's health improves, so too do his perceptions of his strength and possibility. The author also examines the link between our environment and our physical and emotional prosperity. The dark, cramped rooms of the manor house stifle the development of our protagonists. The garden and natural environments allow them to blossom, just as the flowers do. Finally, this book looks at connections between individuals, namely Mary and Colin. This necessity of human companionship is the novel's most significant theme, because none of their development as individuals would have occurred without their knowing each other. Well, that about sums it up, I think.
That's a great help, thanks.
Yes, thanks very much.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, in the test though, you can use that half a minute to look at section 4 if you don't need it. Don't just waste the time. We are running out of time, so I'm going to have to rush this a little bit. So the last part of it is a lecture on pretty much any topic, okay? And there's no pausing. All 10 questions will play straight through, okay? So I can take questions. I'm going to quickly go through this, okay? So take a screenshot from 31 to 35, if that's how you like to do it. Okay. In actual fact, I can put it up as we go along, can't I? Okay, so just have to go quite fast here.
Section 4. You will hear a talk on the topic of time perspectives. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Yeah, so it's all the way through. So I think screenshotting would be good here. Okay. Okay, so that's 36 to 38. I'll scroll down as we go along there. And 39 to 40.
Listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Today, I'm going to be talking about time. Specifically, I'll be looking at how people think about time and how these time perspectives structure our lives. According to social psychologists, there are 6 ways of thinking about time, which are called personal time zones. The first 2 are based in the past. Past positive thinkers spend most of their time in a state of nostalgia, fondly remembering moments such as birthdays, marriages, and important achievements in their life. These are the kinds of people who keep family records, books, and photo albums. People living in the past negative time zone are also absorbed by earlier times, but they focus on all the bad things, regrets, failures, poor decisions. They spend a lot of time thinking about how life could have been. Then, we have people who live in the present. Present hedonists are driven by pleasure and immediate sensation. Their life motto is to have a good time and avoid pain. Present fatalists live in the moment too, but they believe this moment is the product of circumstances entirely beyond their control. It's their fate, whether it's poverty, religion, or society itself. Something stops these people from believing they can play a role in changing their outcomes in life. Life simply is, and that's that. Looking at the future time zone, we can see that people classified as future active are the planners and go-getters. They work rather than play and resist temptation. Decisions are made based on potential consequences, not on the experience itself. A second future-orientated perspective, future fatalistic, is driven by the certainty of life after death and some kind of a judgment day when they will be assessed on how virtuously they have lived and what success they have had in their lives. Okay, let's move on. You might ask, how do these time zones affect our lives? Well, let's start at the beginning. Everyone is brought into this world as a present hedonist. No exceptions. Our initial needs and demands, to be warm, secure, fed, and watered, all stem from the present moment. But things change when we enter formal education. We're taught to stop existing in the moment and to begin thinking about future outcomes. But did you know that every 9 seconds, a child in the USA drops out of school? For boys, the rate is much higher than for girls. We could easily say, well, boys just aren't as bright as girls. But the evidence doesn't support this. A recent study states that boys in America, by the age of 21, have spent 10,000 hours playing video games. The research suggests that they'll never fit in the traditional classroom because these boys require a situation where they have the ability to manage their own learning environment. Now, let's look at the way we do prevention education. All prevention education is aimed at a future time zone. We say, don't smoke or you'll get cancer. Get good grades or you won't get a good job. But with present-orientated kids, that just doesn't work. Although they understand the potentially negative consequences of their actions, they persist with the behavior because they're not living for the future. They're in the moment right now. We can't use logic, and it's no use reminding them of potential fallout from their decisions or previous errors of judgment. We've got to get in their minds just as they're about to make a choice. Time perspectives make a big difference in how we value and use our time. When Americans are asked how busy they are, the vast majority report being busier than ever before. They admit to sacrificing their relationships, personal time, and a good night's sleep for their success. 20 years ago, 60% of Americans had sit-down dinners with their families, and now only 20% do. But when they're asked what they would do with an 8-day week, they say, oh, that'd be great. They would spend that time laboring away to achieve more. They're constantly trying to get ahead, to get toward a future point of happiness. So it's really important to be aware of how other people think about time. We tend to think, oh, that person's really irresponsible, or that guy's power hungry. But often, what we're looking at is not fundamental differences of personality, but really just different ways of thinking about time. Seeing these conflicts as differences in time perspective, rather than distinctions of character, can facilitate more effective cooperation between people and get the most out of each person's individual strengths.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, use your half a minute. Okay, so then you would be given 10 minutes to transfer all the answers to the answer sheet, but that would include maybe a better than my part 1. Okay, right. Actually, we've been through part 1 already, haven't we? Okay, so section 2. I'll just go through the answers because we're running out of time. It'll take a while to ask you. Okay, so 11 was C. That's why I wrote down. 12 was C, I wrote that down. 13A, yes, I got that one. 14B, you can only make one mistake if you want a band 9, by the way. So actually, the fact a lot of people, including English teachers, might not get band 9. 15 is first year, or yeah, I got that. Balance or right balance, yes, I got that. 17, oh yeah, I was a bit confused with that one, but it could be both international students or foreign students, but I got that. Relaxation, yeah, I got that. 19, motivation, I got that. And research, sorry. Okay, right. So as I say, section 3, this is when it becomes academic. We have 2, 3, or 4 people talking, so it's not a monologue. So it's a dialogue. I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4, we call those in English. Okay, so the answer is the Secret Garden, capital S, capital G. Okay, got that. 20th century, yeah. Walk, yeah. They're being very kind on this one. They say you can have, I think in the real IELTS test, they'll only accept motivations with an S for that one, though. 25, abstract ideas. That was roses, no S, no mark. 37, darkness to lightness, or dark to light. Yes, I got that. 28 was health. Yeah. 29 was environment. Yeah. 30, I think I would accept just companionship. I only wrote down companionship. I think they would accept that. Okay, I'll just leave it there. I know I'm going through this fast, but I do have a lot I want to get through. Okay, right, as I say, section 4, that's a lecture. Teachers always suggest do lectures on TED. Okay, and actually listen to topics you're not very interested about, because the subjects that you know, obviously you'll be good at. So listen to things actually you don't know much about. As I said, there's no break between this. It's all straight way through. Okay, so 31, yeah, negative, got that. Pleasure, yeah. Poverty, yeah. 34, I didn't really get, actually. I thought it was really weird, but it answers active. Okay, so I didn't actually, to be honest, get that one. Success, yeah. B, and then a B. Oh, 37 is A. All right, have a look at that one again. 38, C, yeah. 39, A, and 40 was B. They write about cooperation there. I didn't put up what these mean, but if you want to get a 7, you need to get 30 out of 40. Okay. Right. So yeah, very, very quickly, how to improve your IELTS. Well, listen and listen more. Okay. This is one that you can do a lot of practice yourself. Okay. Eavesdrop, listening to conversations in England. It's actually will improve your listening, and it's written about that it's good for your listening. I know it sounds weird. This may sound like I'm very old. Listen to the radio or wireless in the old English. Listen to songs. Be flexible. Sometimes you get ready. Is it often or is it often? Well, some people say often and some people say often. Don't get stuck on these small things. Okay. Listen to films, yeah, and get the subtitles on, and then wean yourself off that help. Okay. Listen and read the transcript at the same time. That can help. Listen to different accents. Okay. So you have Irish, New Zealand. There'll be lots of different accents in the IELTS test. Do authentic listening, just listen to anything. But often students who want to do IELTS, they just want to do IELTS listening, which if you can do that and you can stay interested, then do that. Just do exam practice. Why not? As you say, if it isn't IELTS on the tin, it isn't IELTS. That's a famous advert about Ronseal. Okay, well, I got there in the end. Okay. So I hope you found that useful, and either you're going to say, oh, the listening is easier than I thought or harder, or maybe you knew what it was like already. So now I will take any questions. Just unmute yourself and go for it.
No questions, thanks a lot.
No, Andrew, no questions. Okay.
Yeah, no questions. Just thank you for this valuable information.
No problem. No problem at all. Okay, so yeah, you can stay on the line. Thanks for coming, and I hope to see you in the near future. But do ask any questions that you like about listening, especially IELTS listening. It's not that complicated. Do lots and lots of listening. It's the main tip. Thank you. That's okay. No problem.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it going to be a second trial, like, in the listening test? It shouldn't be like repeated twice.
No, that's why I said, that's why I was talking about anxiety, because, you know, an FCE, you get it twice, don't you? In IELTS, it's once only.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't replay it, no.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yep. Good. Thanks, Andrew. Anyone else? If you want, I can check what a band 8 is. But I think 8 is around 35, 8.5 around 36. Even though I've been teaching it so long, I haven't memorized the numbers. Any more questions out there? No. Sasha, I guess it's Sasha. No. Okay. I think I'll end it there. Jason, what? Shall we end it there, Jason?
Hi there, Nick. Yeah, I think we will do. We'll get everyone over to the next session.
Oh, we've got another one right now. Okay, just about on time. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, then.
Thanks very much. Cheers now.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye.